I loosened my tie as I walked through the lobby, checking my watch one more time. 5:30. Perfect. The roses in my hand were still crisp, their scent mixing with the late summer air drifting through the open doors. After 15 years in finance, leaving early still felt like playing hooky, but today was worth it. 5th anniversary. My name is Edward, and I had everything planned. Dinner reservations at 7, the same restaurant where I proposed. A weekend getaway booked for Friday. I even arranged for my mother to watch Annalise, our 3-year-old miracle. The house was quiet when I pulled into the driveway, but Callie's car was there. Good. I wanted to surprise her. Maybe catch her getting ready for our usual anniversary dinner. The thought made me smile as I unlocked the door. Music drifted down from upstairs, soft, jazzy, not Callie's usual taste. I set the roses on the entry table and started up the stairs, planning to sneak up behind her. Then I heard the laugh, a man's laugh. My feet stopped moving. My brain didn't want to process what I was hearing. More laughter, Callie's this time, followed by a whispered, "Stop it," that was anything but protest. I knew that male voice. The master bedroom door was cracked open. I moved without sound, years of childhood stealth coming back automatically. Through the gap, I saw them. Callie, sprawled across our bed in black lace lingerie I'd never seen before, and Dante, my brother, feeding her strawberries, his fingers trailing across her lips. I must have made some sound because they both looked up. Dante went pale, but Callie just smiled, not embarrassed, not caught, satisfied. "Edward," she purred, sitting up. "You're home early." "Obviously." My voice came out steady, mechanical. Dante scrambled to his feet, grabbing for his shirt. "Bro, I can explain." "Don't bother." I cut him off, eyes locked on Callie. "How long?" She stretched, cat-like, unconcerned. "Does it matter?" "He makes me feel alive, something you never did." The words should have hurt, should have made me rage. Instead, they crystallized something inside me. I turned and walked out, ignoring Dante's calls behind me. I drove. No destination. Just drove until the sun set and my phone stopped buzzing with their messages. Finally, I pulled into an empty park lot and opened my glove compartment. The envelope had been there for 6 months. I tried to forget it existed. Tried to pretend I hadn't sent away for the test after that odd comment Callie made about Annalise's eyes being just like her daddy's. Tried to ignore how those eyes looked exactly like Dante's. My hands didn't shake as I unfolded the paper. The medical language was dense, but the conclusion was clear. The alleged father is excluded as the biological father of the tested child. I stared at those words until they burned into my retinas. Then I took out my phone and opened my banking app. First things first, secure the accounts. My fingers moved methodically, changing passwords, revoking access. Each click felt like laying down a chess piece. They wanted to play games. Fine. I was never the emotional one in the family. Never the one who acted on impulse or passion. I was the planner, the strategist. And now I had nothing left to lose. I started the car and headed home. Not to confront. Not yet. First, I needed my laptop, my files, and that USB drive Callie thought I didn't know about. The game was just beginning. "You've been quiet lately," Jennifer said, sliding a coffee across my desk. "Everything okay?" I looked up from my computer screen, where I'd been staring at the same spreadsheet for an hour. "Just thinking about some inconsistencies. Numbers don't add up." You could say that. I pulled up my personal email, showing her the credit card statement I'd been reviewing. "Look at these charges from 6 months ago. Hotel bookings when Callie was supposed to be at her mother's. Restaurant bills for 2 on nights I was working late." Jennifer leaned in, frowning. "And you never noticed before?" "She handles the bills." I trusted her. The word trusted tasted bitter now. But that's not the worst part. Remember when Annalise was born? Of course, you were over the moon. Called it your miracle after all those fertility treatments. I pulled out my phone, scrolling through old photos. Callie insisted she got pregnant right after our last IVF attempt failed. Said it was some kind of divine timing. But look at the dates. Jennifer's eyes widened as I showed her the timeline. That's when Dante was staying with you, right? Exactly. And here's the kicker. Remember how Callie kept saying she was too sick for visitors that first trimester? Turns out she wasn't too sick to meet Dante for lunch, every Tuesday, like clockwork. How do you know? I pulled up the location history from our shared family account. She forgot I could see this. Every Tuesday, noon to 2, at that little cafe by his office. Jennifer sat down heavily in the chair beside my desk. Jesus, Edward, what are you going to do? Already doing it. I turned my monitor to show her my Facebook page. Watch this. I clicked post on the status I'd been crafting. After recent revelations about paternity test results, I want to thank everyone for their support during this difficult time. Special thanks to Emmett Blair at Chapman Mutual for understanding why Callie won't be at work tomorrow. Family emergencies are never easy. Jennifer's mouth dropped open. Her boss? You tagged her boss? Callie's been so proud of her new position in HR, always talking about Chapman Mutual's strict moral codes and family values. I smiled thinly. Let's see how they feel about this. My phone buzzed. Dante's name flashed on the screen. I hit decline. He's been calling all morning, I explained. Left voice messages about how sorry he is, how it was a mistake, how he never meant to hurt me. I deleted another text without reading it. Funny how sorry people get when they're caught. Jennifer touched my arm. You're taking this very calmly. What's the alternative? Break things? Scream? That's what they'd expect. I closed my laptop. No, I'm going to be methodical about this. I already called Kyler this morning. He's drawing up the divorce papers. And Annalise. DNA test already confirmed what I suspected. She's not mine. I swallowed hard. Probably Dante's, given the timing. He can deal with the child support payments once the paternity is legally established. My phone lit up again, Callie this time. I let it ring. She'll be getting some interesting news today, I said, checking my watch. Right about now. What did you do? Let's just say the daycare received updated emergency contact information, and her credit cards might not work anymore. I stood up, straightening my tie. I have a meeting with the bank at 11, time to separate our accounts. Jennifer watched me gather my things. Edward, be careful. Cornered people can be dangerous. I paused at my office door. That's exactly what I'm counting on. The more they panic, the more mistakes they'll make. The elevator dinged and I stepped in, checking my phone one last time. 3 new voicemails from Callie, 2 from Dante, and 1 email notification from Chapman Mutual's HR department requesting an urgent meeting with Callie. Perfect. She's been living a double life for years, Kyler said, spreading documents across his desk. These credit card statements show hotel bookings going back to before Annalise was born. And look at this, a secret email account linked to a private PayPal. I leaned forward. Show me. She's been siphoning money from your joint account. Small amounts, but they add up. He pointed to a series of transactions. 500 here, 800 there, always just under the amount that would trigger a bank alert. How much total? Over the past 4 years? Kyler tapped his calculator. Just shy of 50,000. My jaw clenched. That was our emergency fund. Our future. Where did it go? Most of it to Dante. He pulled up another document. He's been borrowing money from her regularly, claiming business ventures, gambling debts, you name it. My phone buzzed. A text from my mother. Dante tried to come by. I told him he's no longer welcome here. I'm so sorry, Edward. Your brother's getting desperate, Kyler observed. The paternity filing hit him hard. Child support's no joke, especially with his spotty employment history. Good, I checked my email. Chapman Mutual's board is meeting today. Callie's boss wasn't happy about those honeymoon videos. The ones where she's bragging about sleeping with Dante, and detailing how she planned to marry me for financial stability. I smiled grimly. Turns out conservative insurance companies don't appreciate their HR directors starring in leaked sex tapes. Kyler's phone chimed. He read the message and whistled. Speaking of which, she just got suspended pending investigation. No access to her office or email. Right on schedule. I stood up, straightening my jacket. What's next? Mediation set for next week. But Edward, Kyler hesitated. She's hired Patricia Morgan. The shark? I actually laughed. Perfect. Patricia's about to learn why you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. My phone lit up again. Dante calling for the 100th time. This time, I answered. Please, he started immediately. I'm sleeping in my car. Mom won't talk to me. I can't afford a lawyer. Just let me explain. Explain what? My voice was ice. How you fucked my wife. Or how you let me raise your daughter. I didn't know for sure about Annalise. Save it for the custody hearing. I hung up. Kyler was watching me carefully. You're enjoying this. Not enjoying. Surviving. I pulled out my own stack of papers. Here's what we do next. I want to file for full ownership of the house. I can prove I paid for it entirely. Then we go after the retirement accounts. Already on it. But there's something else. He slid a final document across the desk. Remember that USB drive you mentioned? The one from Callie's drawer? I nodded. We had it analyzed. There's more than just videos on there. She kept a diary, detailed everything, including some creative accounting at Chapman Mutual. Now that was interesting. Define creative. Let's just say the ethics board would be very interested in how certain bonuses were allocated. He tapped the file. Want me to make it disappear? No. I stood up. I want you to make it reappear, anonymously, in their compliance department's inbox. That'll destroy her career, not just at Chapman Mutual, everywhere. I know. I checked my watch. Send it at 4:45, right before their board meeting ends. As I left Kyla's office, my phone buzzed one last time. A text from Callie. Please, we need to talk. I'll explain everything. I typed back 4 words. Nothing left to explain. Then I blocked her number and headed to the bank. Time to close our last joint account. You need to hear this, Jennifer said, plugging a USB drive into her laptop. The IT team recovered deleted audio files from Callie's cloud backup. We sat in my office after hours, blinds drawn. She hit play and Callie's voice filled the room. I can't believe how stupid he is. Callie's laugh was cruel, echoing through the speakers. 4 years, Dante. 4 years we've been doing this, and Edward never suspected a thing. He trusts you, Dante replied, his voice slightly slurred. Always has. Remember when I was struggling and needed a place to stay? God, that was perfect. You playing the sad little brother while I played the supportive wife. Meanwhile, we were fucking in his bed every time he worked late. I gripped the armrest of my chair until my knuckles went white. And Annalise, Dante asked. Please, I knew she was yours the moment I got pregnant. Edward's little swimmers never worked right. All those fertility treatments were just for show. I needed his money, not his DNA. Jennifer reached to stop the recording, but I shook my head. Keep playing. What about the company stuff? Dante again. Easy. I'm in HR. Nobody questions when I approve special bonuses or consulting fees. Edward's so boring with his ethics and integrity. At least you know how to have fun with money. The recording ended. Jennifer closed her laptop quietly. There's more, she said. Lots more. Want to hear it? No. I stood up, walking to the window. Send it all to Kyla, and send copies to Chapman Mutual's board members, anonymously. My phone vibrated. A text from an unknown number. This is Brianna from Chapman Mutual. Callie's office rival. We need to talk. I showed Jennifer the message. Careful, she warned. Could be a trap. Or an ally. I typed back, about. The response came quickly. About the $180,000 in fake consulting fees she approved for Dante last year. I have proof. Well, Jennifer said, reading over my shoulder. That's interesting. Very. I forwarded the message to Kyla. Tell me something. Why didn't they just run away together? Why keep up this charade? Jennifer snorted. Because you're stable, successful. Dante's a mess who can't hold a job. She wanted your money and his excitement. My phone rang. My mother. Edward, she sounded like she'd been crying. Dante came by again. He was drunk, screaming about how you ruined his life. Your father, he would be so ashamed of what Dante's become. What did you do? Called the police. They're taking him in for a psychiatric hold. She paused. He kept saying Annalise is his. Is that true? Yes. Silence stretched between us. Then, I've updated my will. Everything goes to you now. Dante's out. After we hung up, Jennifer touched my shoulder. You okay? Better than okay. I pulled up my email, showing her the latest message from Kyla. Chapman Mutual's board just called an emergency session for tomorrow morning. Apparently someone sent them footage of Callie discussing creative accounting practices with their biggest competitor. Someone? Anonymous source. I smiled. The same anonymous source who's about to send similar packages to every major insurance company in the state, destroying her industry reputation. Exactly. I checked my watch. And in about an hour, Dante's going to get some interesting paperwork delivered to his psychiatric hold room. What paperwork? Back child support calculations, plus damages. I gathered my things. Time to go home. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. As I left the office, another text came through. Brianna again. Board meetings at 9 a.m. Want me to live text you the carnage? I replied with one word. Please. The mediation room felt too small for the tension it contained. Callie sat across the table, her designer outfit wrinkled, dark circles under her eyes. Her lawyer, Patricia, shuffled papers with manufactured confidence. Before we begin, Patricia announced, my client wants to make a statement. I leaned back, saying nothing. Kyla touched my arm, a silent reminder to stay calm. Edward, Callie's voice cracked. I know I hurt you, but this vendetta, getting me suspended from work, freezing the accounts, it's cruel. Cruel? I kept my voice level, like letting me raise another man's child for 3 years. Patricia jumped in. The paternity issue is separate from the division of assets. My client is entitled to nothing. Kyla cut her off, sliding documents across the table. Your client committed financial fraud. We have proof of embezzlement, unauthorized transfers, and falsified HR documents. Callie's face went white. You can't prove. Actually, I interrupted, pulling out my phone. Brianna's been very helpful. She's testifying about those consulting fees tomorrow. Brianna? Callie's composure cracked. That little bitch from accounting, the same one you tried to get fired last year. I smiled. She kept receipts. Patricia leaned over to whisper in Callie's ear. I caught fragments. Serious allegations. And criminal charges. My phone buzzed. A text from Jennifer. Dante just got released, heading your way. Right on schedule. The door burst open. Dante stumbled in, unshaven, wild-eyed. You can't do this to me. 50,000 in back child support. I don't have that kind of money. Should have thought about that before sleeping with my wife. I didn't even look at him. The court date is set for next week. Don't miss it. Dante, shut up, Callie hissed. You're making it worse. Worse? He laughed hysterically. How could it be worse? Mom disowned me. I lost my job. The police have me on a watch list. Patricia stood up. This meeting is over. Your client needs to hear this first. I pulled out one final envelope. These are screenshots from Callie's private email, the ones where she details how she's been stealing from Chapman Mutual to fund Dante's gambling debts. Callie lunged for the envelope. Kyla pulled it back. Copies are already with the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit, he said calmly. They're very interested in insurance fraud cases. You're bluffing, Callie whispered. I stood up. Check your work email. Oh wait, you can't. You've been terminated. The board voted this morning. They can't. They can and did, with cause. I gathered my things, which means no severance, no references, and no chance of working in insurance again. Dante slumped against the wall. What about Annalise? DNA test confirmed she's yours. Congratulations. I headed for the door. Child Services will be in touch about your parental obligations. Edward, please, Callie called out. We can work this out, for Annalise's sake. I turned back one last time. You know what's funny? I would have forgiven the affair, maybe even the money, but letting me love that child, knowing she wasn't mine, that's what makes you monsters. In the hallway, Kyla caught up with me. That went well. It's not over. I checked my phone. Another text from Brianna. Board sent the fraud evidence to all major insurance companies in the network. She's blacklisted. What's next? Kyla asked. Now? I smiled. Now we wait for the criminal investigation to start. The FBI doesn't like it when HR directors embezzle company funds. My phone buzzed again. A message from my mother. Dante's at my door again. Police are on their way. Perfect timing, I muttered. Let's go watch the show. The police lights painted my mother's front yard in alternating red and blue. Dante sat handcuffed in the back of a patrol car, still shouting through the window. He threatened to burn the house down, my mother explained, hands shaking as she sipped her tea. Said if he was going down, he'd take everyone with him. I watched as the officers collected evidence, the gasoline can from Dante's car, the lighter in his pocket. Did he hurt you? No, I didn't let him in. She touched my arm. I recorded everything on my phone, the threats, the confession, all of it. Confession? She nodded, pulling up the video on her phone. Dante's face appeared on screen, contorted with rage. You want to know the truth, Mom? Fine. I fucked his wife. I got her pregnant. And you know what? She wanted it. Said Edward was too pathetic, too boring. We laughed about it. For years we laughed. I forwarded the video to Kyler. More ammunition. Sir. An officer approached. We found these in his car. He held up a stack of papers, printouts of emails between Dante and Callie, dating back years. Given the ongoing investigation, you might want to see these. I flipped through them. Each page was worse than the last. Plans to manipulate me. Strategies to hide their affair. Discussions about money they'd stolen. They're going to need these for evidence, the officer said. But you can take photos. My phone buzzed while I was documenting the emails. Brianna. FBI just left Chapman Mutual. They're heading to Callie's apartment next. Another text followed immediately. She's trying to delete everything. Too late. I already locked her out and preserved the servers. Edward, my mother said softly. There's something else you should see. She pulled up her email, showing me a message from Callie dated 3 years ago, the day Annalise was born. It worked. Edward actually believes the baby is his miracle. Dante's thrilled. Keep playing along with the happy grandmother act. We can't let Edward suspect anything. My mother's eyes filled with tears. I'm so sorry. I never saw it. Never wanted to see it. It's not your fault. I watched as the police car carrying Dante pulled away. They fooled everyone. My phone rang. Jennifer, you watching the news? I turned on the TV. There it was. Breaking news. Local insurance executive under investigation for fraud. Callie's company headshot filled the screen. They're live outside her apartment, Jennifer said. FBI's conducting a raid. I switched channels. Every local station had the story. The respected HR director. The embezzlement scheme. The affair with her brother-in-law. Edward, my mother pointed to the window. A familiar car was pulling into her driveway. Callie stepped out, mascara streaked down her face. Please, she called out. I need to talk to you. I opened the front door, but stayed inside. The FBI is looking for you. I know. That's why... She stopped, seeing the police officer still taking statements in the yard. Edward, help me, please. I'll tell you everything. Like you told me everything about Annalise. She flinched. I was going to tell you eventually. When? After you and Dante finished stealing my money. After you destroyed my company's reputation with your fraud. The officer turned, recognizing Callie from the news. He reached for his radio. You did this, she hissed. Destroyed everything I built. No, I replied calmly. You did this. I just exposed it. As the officer approached Callie, reading her rights, my phone buzzed one final time. Kyler. FBI wants to meet tomorrow. They have questions about the evidence we provided. I watched them lead Callie away, then turned to my mother. Let's go inside. The show's over. But it wasn't over. Not yet. Tomorrow would bring new revelations, new consequences. And I would be there to watch every moment. The FBI conference room felt sterile and cold. Agent Marshall spread photos across the table. Surveillance shots of Callie meeting with competitors, bank statements, email printouts. The fraud goes deeper than we initially thought, she said. Your wife wasn't just embezzling. She was selling company secrets. Ex-wife, I corrected. The divorce was finalized this morning. Congratulations. Marshall slid another document forward. We found this in her private email. Thought you'd want to see it. It was a 5-year plan, meticulously detailed. How to marry me for financial stability. How to slowly drain my accounts. Even contingency plans if I discovered the truth about Annalise. Cold, Jennifer whispered beside me. She'd come as a witness to the financial transactions. My phone buzzed. Brianna. Callie's being escorted out. Everyone's watching. Want the video? Send it, I replied. The clip showed Callie, designer suit replaced by wrinkled clothes, being led through Chapman Mutual's lobby in handcuffs. Employees lined the walls, phones recording. Her mask finally cracked. She screamed at them to stop filming. Your brother's agreed to testify, Marshall continued. He's hoping for leniency. Of course he is, I smiled thinly. How's that working out? Not well. The child support evasion charges alone. She shrugged. He's looking at serious consequences. Another text, Kyler this time. Judge signed the final orders. House is yours. Accounts are sealed. She gets nothing. We'll need you to testify, Marshall said. Both about the financial fraud and the corporate espionage. Happy to. I stood up. Is there anything else? Actually, she pulled out one final folder. We found these in her cloud storage. Videos she recorded of your brother bragging about the affair at various parties. Apparently she kept them as insurance. Insurance? To keep him in line, threaten him if he ever thought about coming clean. Marshall's expression softened slightly. It's rare to see this level of calculated manipulation. My phone lit up again. A news alert. Chapman Mutual scandal widens. HR director accused of selling trade secrets. The press is having a field day, Jennifer commented. They don't know the half of it. I checked my watch. The SEC filing goes public in 10 minutes. Marshall raised an eyebrow. The one showing she violated federal disclosure laws? Among other things. I gathered my coat. Thank you for your time, Agent Marshall. In the hallway, Jennifer grabbed my arm. Edward, look. On the lobby TV, Callie's Perp Walk was playing on repeat. Below it, a ticker showed Chapman Mutual stock dropping as the SEC news hit. She's finished, Jennifer said. Professionally, financially, socially. Even if she avoids jail time, she'll never recover from this. Good. I headed for the exit. Let's get lunch. My phone rang. Dante calling from jail. I answered on speaker. They're offering me a deal, he said quickly. 10 years instead of 20 if I testify about everything. The affair, the fraud, Annalise. Sounds fair. Fair. Edward, please, you're my brother. Was your brother. I cut him off. Brothers don't sleep with each other's wives. Brothers don't let each other raise their children under false pretenses. Brothers don't steal from each other. I'm sorry. Save it for your testimony. I hung up. Outside, the autumn air felt clean, crisp. My phone buzzed one last time. My mother sending a photo of the local newspaper. The headline read, Corporate Scandal Reveals Web of Betrayal. Ready for lunch? Jennifer asked. I looked at the newspaper photo again. Callie's mugshot stared back, her perfect mask finally shattered. Yeah, I said. I'm starving. The marina air carried a hint of salt as I stepped onto my new boat. Paternity test gleamed on the stern in fresh paint. My small act of defiance against years of lies. Nice name, Jennifer said, following me aboard. Subtle. About as subtle as Callie's guilty verdict yesterday. I handed her a coffee. 7 years for fraud and corporate espionage, plus restitution. Did you go to the sentencing? Didn't need to. I settled into the captain's chair. The video feed was enough. Watching her realize everything was gone. Her career, her freedom, her carefully constructed image. My phone buzzed. A text from Brianna. Thought you'd want to see this. Chapman Mutual's new ethics policy is named after your case. The Robertson Protocol for Preventing Insider Fraud. Jennifer read over my shoulder and laughed. You're famous. Infamous, I corrected. Did you see Dante's sentencing got moved up? How long did he get? 12 years. Turns out the judge didn't appreciate him trying to burn down Mom's house. I checked my messages. Speaking of Mom, she's loving her new role on Chapman Mutual's board of directors. The whistleblower seat suits her. She's already caught 2 other executives trying to cook the books. I smiled. Turns out moral outrage is hereditary. The dock creaked as Kyla walked up, carrying a folder. Final paperwork from the divorce. Everything settled. And Annalise? DNA confirmed it. She's with her biological father now. Though given his prison sentence, his sister has custody. Kyla sat down. You okay with that? I nodded slowly. Better than foster care. And his sister's a good person. Never knew about any of this. Unlike some people, Jennifer pointed to my phone, which was showing a news alert. Former HR director's appeal denied, must pay full restitution. $2 million, Kyla whistled. Plus legal fees. She'll be paying that off long after she gets out. If she gets out, I corrected. The FBI is still finding new charges. Apparently she had similar schemes at her previous jobs. My phone lit up with a call. Agent Marshall. Thought you'd want to know, she said, when I answered. We found offshore accounts. Your brother and ex-wife had an escape plan. Tickets to non-extradition countries, new identities, everything. When were they planning to run? Your anniversary, the day you caught them. She paused. You didn't just expose their affair, Edward. You stopped them from disappearing with millions in stolen money. After we hung up, Jennifer touched my arm. You never told me they were planning to run. Didn't know. I started the boat's engine. Ready to head out? Where to? Anywhere. I guided the boat toward open water. That's the beauty of starting over. The destination doesn't matter. My phone buzzed one final time, a message from my mother. Your father would be proud, not of the revenge, but of how you handled betrayal with dignity. Dinner Sunday? I typed back, yes, as the shoreline receded behind us. The morning sun caught the boat's name, making it shine like a beacon. You know what the best revenge is? Jennifer asked, watching the waves. Living well? No, she smiled. Making them live with what they lost. Callie and Dante didn't just lose money or freedom. They lost respect, trust, family, everything they took for granted. I cut the engine, letting us drift in the calm water. The silence felt right, peaceful. Ready to head back? Jennifer asked after a while. No, I said, smiling for what felt like the first time in months. I think I'll stay out here a bit longer. The water stretched endlessly ahead, full of possibilities. And for once, I wasn't looking back.